What do you guys miss from the 2000 to 2009 internet? Less bullshit from people wanting to go viral. Going viral isn't even like an actual thing anymore. Because shit goes viral every day and most people never even see it. Back then going viral meant something. Lack of influencers. We had influencers. We just didn't call them that. People like Tyler Tequila were the influencers of the 2000s. Back in the day, anything you did on the internet stayed on the internet. It was clearly separate from your daily life. And most people treated it that way. Nowadays, people are way too enmeshed with their social media that they feel no distinction between it and real life. So true. We lost so much ground though when Facebook told us all we had to use our gasp real names. Goes against everything in internet history. And you can't relax and be yourself in that environment. Online message boards were way more niche and felt like more of a community. In the early 2000s, I used to post on a message board for a random website for the band Stained. There are probably 10 of us total. And we were all regulars. I got to know them better than anyone I've ever conversed with on a larger forum like Reddit. Even though I never met any of them in real life. You didn't have to sign up on every website. No one tried to ask for my cookies. I miss YouTube when it was just people uploading their crazy stuff rather than professionally made shows. eBay when it was mostly just people selling stuff they didn't want rather than commercial online businesses. Facebook when it was just connecting with people you knew and sharing snippets of your life rather than everyone trying to push their political views on their friends. You'll remember when college humor was almost as good as anything on TV? I remember. I badly miss early Cracked. I went back there and it's horrible. The articles are either pictures submitted by readers, or 1 or 2 paragraphs about a mind-blowing fact that everybody already knows. The old Newgrounds vibe. Everybody just made tea and people watched it and it was amazing. Nowadays it feels that everything has to be amazing quality and everybody is subscribed only to the best people and you don't have to go through waves of shit. I mean I get it but there was something magical about finding something nice once in a while. And have so many people just trying it out and easily submitting new videos. With YouTube that barrier just feels higher. Flash games. I remember learning Flash animation programming in my high school tech class. At that point it was the way to do animation interactive sites. I saw a meme once when I was a kid. But now they're everywhere. The internet went and got itself in a big damn hurry. The freedom. It was the Wild West. Absolutely anything went. Now that corporations have taken over, everything is much more polished. Average production values are much higher. UIs and general web page design are 1000x more user friendly. But the freedom is gone. Genuine passion projects are few and far between. It's all about just making people watch as many ads as possible. And anything perceived to potentially damage the bottom line is quickly buried, if not outright extinguished. The shitty but well-meaning quality. Younger people may not remember or weren't there before YouTube became basically internet TV. Back in the day, people were filming on their shitty laptop cameras, on their bed in terrible lighting. It made me feel like I was getting to actually know someone and enjoy their content. Whereas now, it's so airbrushed and facettuned. It's no longer appealing. The blogs. In 2000 people hadn't really cottoned on to the idea of monetizing social media, so the people writing blogs were just writing them because they felt they had something interesting funny to share. You'd have some completely normal guy just writing about funny stuff that happened that day at his work. With no expectation of being paid for it. No flashy site. No product promotion. Just good content. Obviously that still exists. But the good stuff gets very slick and loses the honesty of some guy's side project when it becomes a job in of itself. Stumble upon. Spent a lot of time mindlessly stumbling but also found a lot of great sites. Stumble upon was amazing. I lost like 2 months of my life to it before I decided I had to uninstall it because it was internet crack. It became compulsive for me. Click button. See funny amazing site. Get dopamine. It's a badger mushroom. Oh wait. That was 2003. I miss not having to have 4 GBs of RAM and multiple cores at the minimum to browse the internet comfortably. YouTube used to run perfectly fine on my 256 MB ThinkPad. As did every website. Nowadays it's basically unusable on a laptop with 2 gigs of RAM. Can we seriously stop with all the goddamn JavaScript? There was this beautiful time when networks and computers had gotten better. But we were still building in basic HTML, CSS and things started feeling fast. Now it takes me 5 minutes to load a single YouTube page. I didn't have to see a pop-up ad on every single video, web page, forum, blog and webcomic. People just did things to do things. Not because you could become an influencer or whatever and make money off of it. I am glad there is a place for those things and people who do them. But I miss the simplicity. Not anything in particular THB. But I do miss the excitement and newness of it all. It was an exciting time to be young. It felt like a digital revolution. I remember sitting in front of my first computer with a dial-up internet. Not knowing where to go. I was sitting there thinking I could probably look up anything. Where do I start? It was so exciting because it was new and unexplored. Now, most of content is getting thrown at you while you browse. Anyone remember when memes were called demotivational posters? Double quote. I remember when memes were just images with captions clipped out of newspapers or magazines and then posted on corkboards at most businesses. I miss old YouTube. Before every channel was a brand. And every video had 10 ads in it. When you could just follow the wormhole of just random videos for hours and hours. Now everything is so corporate. And kid friendly. Remember 5-star ratings? Pipperage Farm remembers. Me and my cousin used to exchange Happy Tree Friends stickers and Yahoo Messenger. I miss those days. A weekly installment of Strong Bad emails. Strong Bad was still going up until like a year ago. Not weekly anymore. But still a ton of them. MySpace and MSN Messenger. Oh, I miss MSN so much. The customization. The silliness. The lack of uniformity. I still have hours worth of ARPing saved in text form from MSN. Modern messengers are awkward and clunky in comparison. Plus I loved that you could save your own animated emotes. I raided the animated pixel art section of DeviantArt for good ones. And I still have them in a folder. Better than emoji and having to wrangle with Unicode to make sure Glomp squish until he goes grey is worth putting in. The amateur looking websites with a million fonts and colors. Blink tags. Web 1.0 is my favorite web design style. Oh my god yes. Sparkling blingy text. Facebook was a college thing instead of a platform for crazy racist aunts and uncles. In addition to that, it used to be a place about the people's lives rather than the news and other stuff people share nowadays. The lack of influencers. I still cannot believe this is a full-time well-paying job for so many people. We need to start calling them advertisers because that's what they really are. Email. Remember email? Remember getting one? It was like Christmas. Okay. I think this is more like 1997 to 1999 internet. YouTube with stars rating. I hate that everything was dumbed down to like or dislike for algorithm purpose. YouTube. Netflix. Steam reviews. Those early days of online porn. So strange to think. Some of those girls must be 20 by now. I watched Marie McRae go from the teen section to the MILF stepmom section. I feel so old. Social media should have ended with MySpace. MySpace was a great place for bands. Learning basic HTML to load as many moving parts, songs and videos onto my MySpace page. MMORPGs in all their glory. Pre-Big Bang MapleStory specifically was my jam. Old school RuneScape was it for me. Only reason I finally learned to type without looking down at the keyboard was so I could keep track of all the banksaless. That Wild West feeling where everybody just seemed to have their own website. YouTube was just another video hosting website and Facebook wasn't full of people just sharing news stories. People made their own shitty websites from scratch with god-awful color schemes and GIFs everywhere. And I loved it. None of this Wix template bullshit. Napster. Lemure. Like having unprotected sex with the internet. The overall lack of monetization. People didn't understand you could make money off of the internet yet. So it was essentially ran by nerds and not corporations. Windows XP. You didn't have Windows XP if that startup sound didn't scare the living shitty out of you at 3 AM on 100% speaker volume. Less politics. People suddenly acting like they are deep thinking political pundits that know exactly what their elected officials do and don't do. MySpace. Playing RuneScape with my friends. And YouTube being a viable platform with less of the bullshit. It was a video place for music and funny videos. So much homegrown stuff and the vast majority was made and shared by educated adults and very precocious teens. As soon as you got video and the Fortune 500 got on here, the entire thing turned from a small neighborhood in North Seattle with a view of the Olympics and a neighborhood zine posted to a mailbox. To F-King Times Square. I'm not a fan of Times Square. 1. No social media and people posting crap on them. 2. No political correction. Censorship and fake news. 3. Piracy was much easier and common. 4. Forums with large community. There are some nowadays but not as popular. I prefer forums over social media. 5. People making their own websites and blogs. 6. It was something special. Not like today. People didn't spend every minute online. Internet was only in computer. Not phone. Try to not use mobile internet for a week. See how much it affect your life. New Harry Potter fanfic. What's are you asked? And only geeks techies online all the time. I miss the old MuggleNet. Not the internet. But on the Nintendo DSi. Flipnote Studio was my only meme area. Absolutely loved and missed it since. Good old times. Flash games. Armor games. Newgrounds. And even Aborm's World WAYYY back in the day were my daily haunts. I miss 2008 to 2009 Facebook when it was a timeline of statuses. Today it is just misinformation. Clickbait. Boomers Gen X complaining about politics and misusing the word liberal. You used to be able to customize your page on a lot of places until every website decided they have to look the same. Remember how you could make your YouTube channel or your Twitter profile look totally unique? Not even talking about MySpace here. I blame Facebook and every website that wants to copy its formula. Also, the death of forums is pretty sad as I always enjoyed the intimacy of smaller communities that have the same interests. I spent a lot of time on forums as a teenager and you basically grew up with those people. Reddit just isn't the same in that respect. In general, the internet has become so centralized that we have only a few big websites that really matter and that we frequent often. It used to be a lot more and they weren't corporate giants that only wanted more clicks. That was part of the wonder of the internet for me. This might sound needlessly convoluted. But I miss when there was a clear divide between being online and offline. When going online was something you had to commit to. Like you'd just be writing a Word document or playing a game or whatever offline but would decide I want to go online now to look something up for my school assignment and would have to click connect. The whole always online thing which has crept up on us over the years does annoy me a little. We've now reached a point where if my ISP screws up and my internet goes out for a few hours, I sometimes can't even fire up a locally installed single-player PC game to entertain myself during that time. Because even starting the game requires an internet connection. Almost no clickbait, Napster plus Winamp. It really whips the llama's ass, memes had wit. And were profound and funny, not having to consent to cookies. Edit. Fix Winamp slogan. Domination of the word over the image. I still can't get accustomed to it. When I ask for some information and receive, instead of an article, a YouTube video which takes 3 times longer to watch. It was the golden age of the music blog. Tons of good active ones, many of which cater to a specific niche. And they all competed to find the next big thing. I discovered so many great artists and songs simply by hopping from blog to blog and searching among them on Hype Machine. Nowadays, a few big ones have essentially become the Rolling Stone and Entertainment Weekly of the internet, and they're afraid to go out on a limb and champion new artists, while subsequently propping up overrated stuff. Not having to forward plan about employers and damaging your online footprint. These days you can be tracked from anywhere. Thank God there's no evidence of the stuff I did on the old internet. AIM. When you'd be logged in and hear that sound of the door opening, meaning someone on your buddy list signed in. For all of you youngsters who never used it, you'd look to see if your crush finally logged in so you could chat with them. I miss late 90s early zeros internet, when it was impossible to know what was fake true. Watching that kid rage and just destroy his new truck and having no idea whether or not it was staged as a 14-year-old kid was hilarious. Also, Flash animation series and games. Zhao Zhao. Where you at, baby? Edit. Gunbound. And I know there's Dragonbound or whatever it's called now. It's not the f-king same. Being able to upload content without getting shat on by copyright strikes. Making YouTube videos of your favorite shows, games etc. was actually fun without this worry. The personalization of MySpace and Facebook. You used to be able to put third-party apps on your Facebook profile. Like describe me in 3 words or honesty box that people could fill out. MySpace had music and you could put a playlist on your profile, which was a nice touch. Also, likes weren't really a thing. So you'd either get no response or a proper comment message. I don't mind likes, but they are relied on a bit much now.